15 platforms, so they take different time, different amounts of time to come online before we kind of roll it out. My God, I'm still trying to get back on the planet. Okay, we are live. It looks like. Huh. Yeah, we're really getting suppressed lately. I noticed it. The notifications stuff aren't going up, but that's okay. We'll work through it. Okay. Welcome everybody on the live and the replay. Forgive my hair. And we got a beautiful, beautiful, brave couple with us today, Cody and Michelle. We're going to talk with them about their journey and see what kind of code we can pick up from them. And with all the gratitude and honor, reverence, and respect all the way around. So if these shows resonate, please share. We are getting suppressed. You can watch these shows on soulspeaksnetwork.com. There's more coming there every week. And it won't be too long before we have 4 channels running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Thank you for all your contributions, support, love that allows us to keep doing this by the seat of our pants every day. We'll be back in a minute, 19 seconds. What better way to start the day than with some young ascension love, which we know is far beyond romantic. We've got enough couples on here to know that these new relationships are about a lot more than the romance, and actually they take a higher aspects of ourselves in order for them to thrive. But the good news is we can do it, and the even better news is there's young people coming into this community, and to see a young couple like this, I'm just all ears. So welcome to the show, both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And it's an honor to meet you. Thank you for coming in and sharing space with us. And I don't know where to start with this one. Of course, we know Cody in the Soulspeaks community, and again, thank you for your efforts in serving humanity. Let's find out what the real story is. How did this all happen? Who busted the move?
That would be me.
Right.
I found her on it was like an online platform, and I seen her, and I extended some sort of message that said, your eyes, like, I know who you are.
Your eyes look familiar.
Your eyes look familiar. That's what it was. And so I've known ever since I was like 7, I would marry a African American woman who had green eyes, and I found her, or I should say that she found me. Like, I'm either way. So that's how it started, at least. And it's
Wow. So how long ago was that?
4.5 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow. So you guys are putting in some real time. 4.5 years in the ascension and relationship is like 45 years in the old world.
Yeah.
Now, Michelle, did you know? Like, I'm sure you're very attractive. I'm sure that you've gotten hit on before. Could you tell there was a difference between him and others?
Yes, actually, I was on the site for probably about an hour and a half, and I had just downloaded it, and I was going to delete it because of the advances I were getting. They weren't what I was looking for.
Yeah.
And Cody sent me a message, and immediately I was like, all right, I have to talk to this person. He's very smooth, he's very handsome. And I did, and that was that.
Wow.
I deleted the site. I gave him my number like 30 minutes into the conversation, and
Wow.
I was hooked. Within the week, I was in love.
Wow. Far out. And so have you noticed anything different in this relationship than what maybe previous relationships and or previous preconceived notions, you know, like what the norm was then and what you're experiencing now? Either one of you, both of you?
I'll go first. If you want. Yeah, so playing with her, it causes me to step into all of my fears that I have, you know. And there's no real turning back, you know. Like no matter how hard stuff gets or how much like I need to dive in to my own stuff or like learning about understanding and compassion and all of this stuff, just like being with her and like how our energy mixes, it causes me to show up as the best version of myself.
Yeah.
Yep.
I can relate to that, Cody. And I can also say that, yeah, I wouldn't be half of what I am had that if that wasn't true. And on top of that, and this is where my question is, is so Morgan has no problem with saying what she needs to say to me. You know what I mean? Is that how it works for y'all, Michelle, or is it more telepathic? No.
There's a lot of telepathy.
Yeah. Telepathic. I'm typically a more I verbalize with eye contact more than I do with words with Cody. So he kind of has to focus a little bit to figure out what exactly I'm trying to say to him because I can't find the words, but always gets it out of me.
He does, yeah. So Cody, you found yourself a high priestess. I can already tell.
Oh, absolutely.
You're getting crash courses in telepathy, intuition.
Oh man, I know. Yeah.
And what about the? Well, you know the words. I'm with Michelle. I think we all just need to be quiet more and more as the days go by. But the word ascension or whatever this is that's happening all over the world, in terms of like, you know, the things that have become more openly discussed, such as visitations, channeling, transmissions, downloads. Some people do it one way, some people do it the other. So I hate to go into too deep a description, but is that part of, you know, is that part of the relationship? I mean, in terms of like, are you both on the path? Are you both focused on growing? How does that relate as an individual, and how does that relate and transfer over into the couple? I mean, can you speak about your life, I guess, together? Like, you know, what do you guys do, or what are your dreams? And, you know, how do you see this whole ascension thing, and how do you see what your relationship, how that fits in?
Yeah. So in terms of like ascension, like doing energy work and all of that stuff, you know, like I'm very public with it, and I kind of opened her up to all of that. That being said, you mentioned that like she has high priestess energy. She absolutely does. Like she is incredibly powerful. It's just from at least what I see from the external view is, you know, like she's still like learning how to step into that. Although I'm sure there's tons of shit that she does without even telling me, you know. Um,
Yeah.
but I think just like, we are both working on ourselves in our own way, and we're also very polar opposites too, which plays into us growing because we have to, because we can't stay the same. Because if we want to connect and stay together, we have to constantly learn from each other and how to support the other person and still be an independent person because we are drastically different.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I can relate to that, and I'm totally getting in. You're talking, but she's talking too.
Yep.
She's a little picture on the screen, and I can see I got like ISIS thunderbolts coming out of her eyes. Like holy shiitake mushrooms, man. Yeah, that's a really good description. I mean, it's real, it's truth, and it also, well, in our situation, we're very much polar opposites. A lot of the couples I talk to, that's the situation. But almost every single couple that I've talked to, which I don't know, would probably be 50, the feminine energy is in the lead. It's like whether she talks a lot or doesn't, there's something about she's directing and guiding the way, whether it's conscious, unconscious, intuitive, or spoken. How does that resonate or not resonate with y'all's situation?
Come on.
I'd say the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
Since me and Cody got together, we've gone nowhere but up. In my opinion, all aspects of life. Yeah. Personally, physically, whatever. I would say materially, but we're not really materialistic people.
Yeah. So happy.
Yeah, But yeah, I mean, if I look at where we were as individuals before we connected compared to where we are now, I would definitely define us as a power couple.
I love these women that they say they speak so few words and say so much. It's true. And she makes a really good point too, because that's another thing that you see too, is when the connection's made, when someone like me makes a statement like I just did, that in these situations I find that the feminine energy is leading. Now I'm talking about the feminine energy as an energy, which is obviously alive in both people, but it's mostly represented in her. But for someone to make a statement like that, it can sound a little bit condescending to the masculine energy, but it's not. It just seems to be reflective of what's happening in the collective field. As we all know, the patriarch is a patriarch system, and it's dominated or has been by a distorted masculine, which means what? It means that the feminine energy was suppressed. And how can you have balance unless that energy comes up, which means the other one must come down? And we're watching that happen all over the world. But these couples seem to reflect that. So it's a very good thing because, and let me ask you this, there's a power in the feminine energy, in the goddess energy, that has been forgotten. And can you relate to this? Do you feel the presence? Cody, are you different? How are you different since she walked into your life? What were you like before she walked into your life? Because you certainly had enough on the ball to get this priestess to give you her phone number in 30 minutes.
He's pretty small.
Well, I guess like the easiest way to explain it is, so like on my other episode, I spoke about like me being an addict and stuff like that. So when she came into my life, I was still in active addiction. But she loved me in like this quiet, unconditional way that ended up transforming essentially almost every belief I had about myself, that I didn't deserve love, which is the huge reason why I actually got sober in the first place, is because like through like our interactions early on, like she taught me that I am actually worth something, and then like that's transformed into like where I am now,
Wow, that's powerful. That's a soundbite right there. That's powerful. And that's the thing about that energy too, is it's not loud. It doesn't talk a lot. Um, it does have the eyes like she does that throws lightning bolts out, um, but there's a power in it. There's like a calmness, but there's a power in that. It's like that's never going anywhere. It's always going to be there. That's the rock. It's never going away, and I guess it's reemerging now on a local level and on the collective level. So this should get real interesting. Do you guys have any, like, I know, Cody, you're out there. This is similar to Morgan and I. I mean, I'm out here every day and she's in the background, but anyone that's followed Soulgy feels her presence. Her presence is all throughout Soulgy. Are you guys working on anything together? Does that occur daily, or is one purpose this way and one purpose this way?
She's more behind the scenes at home, but that being said, I have been asking her to step up with me and do stuff like this because I know that in my heart, we're supposed to like do stuff, like how I do it together in some fashion. So I'm really hoping that like us doing this is the like the starter for that, because I want her involved. I really do.
I think I have a feeling that she already knows and has known for a long time. She's just been putting it off as long as she can because the human side of her has no interest, But duty-wise, priestess, purpose-wise, yeah, she already knows. I bet, don't you?
Yeah.
I figured. I figured because, and that's happening. I see it on this show and in Soulgy. They're stepping up now. It's not like it was 4 or 5 years ago. They're stepping up, and they will be heard. And it's like a fire hydrant. Somebody opened it up, and it's not going to stop now. There's no way. So it's going to be interesting to see too how this unfolds for all of us in terms of she's been holding space. And now they're stepping forward, and I guess we're gonna have to become better. Not that we're not good, but better space holders. Better space holders is the masculine energy. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
I agree. I mean, I feel as though you are correct in that statement where I have been procrastinating quite a bit on joining in with Cody, but I see more and more that that's not going to work for too much longer. He's gradually pulling me into more activities that he knows I'll enjoy doing so I could get in the swing of it. Pretty much before this interview, I have the thing with being on camera. I don't like taking pictures and stuff. He's like, just don't worry about it. You just can sit here. We're just going to do our thing. Just don't worry. So I'm using some of his strength to,
Yeah. Yeah. Bruce says she does fine holding her own space. Yeah, but she's been holding ours too. But yeah, that makes total sense. And again, mine's the same way. She can't stand taking pictures at all. I mean, I never met her in the physical for 17 months. And in that time, she might have sent me 2 pictures, right? And she had 4 on her Facebook page, which were outdated and small, like small as you are on the screen or smaller, right? But I think, there's a reason for that. A lot of people have talked about it, the energetic, the imprint of, the history and the suppression of women. And, we're talking, of course, witch burnings and, any woman that was an herbalist, worked with plants and magic. So that left a pretty big, mark on our lineage, and I think they're stepping out of it now. It's going to be exciting. What about and I'm not talking about physical intimacy, but sacred sexuality, and I'm talking about a vibration. Some people consider it life force, creation energy, which is birthed through the pure love between two people, and it can be physical intimacy, but it doesn't look anything like what we're all used to. And it's becoming more and more of a conversation, a subject, topic, in that it offers so much, such as opening up portals, downloads, channels, apparitions, visitations, mutual, somewhat seemingly hallucinogenic experiences without any kind of anything ingested. Can you guys relate to that? Have you noticed anything like that? Like when you're in each other's presence, things just kind of happen. A third energy becomes present, things like that.
Yeah. So when we step into a space like this together, the creation energy is unlimited. There isn't anything that we either can overcome or create or manifest. But if we're separate, I can tell that we're struggling to do all this stuff. So that's showing us that we actually need to be holding the same space together for that. And I mean, I can speak about the physical intimacy too. We aren't a couple that we don't have sex unless we both feel that space being held for us. And when we do, I mean, I think we both kind of leave this world, to be honest with you.
Wow. Wow, what a gift. What a gift. And that's such a challenge, for me included. I mean, though I'm past it. I'm still learning, but I'm not past it. But for a man to say what you just said, I mean, that's due to direct experience. That's not like somebody told you that and go say it, and you can tell. Yeah, that's amazing. That's an amazing place to be. And it's a new territory, I think. I think maybe we all had flashes of it, like our first girlfriend or boyfriend and first experiences as innocent teenagers or whatever. But to have it and sustain it and expand it, there's all kinds of invisible gifts that come, isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I also think too that a part of that is from the healing, like we've both went through, because our previous partners in our past were filled with trauma and not being actually cared for, seeking outside validation and all of this stuff. So us being together, we've had to work through all of that, which now brings us into the space that we are now with that. It's just real intimacy. I don't know how else to say it.
I know. I'm with you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you. So I'm not trying to put you on the spot, Cody, but who is she to you? What does she mean to you?
The first thing that pops in my head is that she's my life. I am my own independent person, but without her, none of this happens like this, she is my everything. I don't know how else to say it,
Yeah. Yeah, less is more, right?
Yeah, that's what she is to me.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the more you say, the more you F it up.
Exactly.
So our beloved, beautiful sister, Janie Hodges, She's tapped in. She was wanting to know. She asked a couple of questions, but do you have any awareness of what you guys are doing in, say, other dimensions, in dimension, other timelines, anything like that? Does anything ever cross over? Dreams? You ever say, "Hey, I had a dream about you last night"? Anything? Do y'all get any kind? I mean, there's no right or wrong answer, but she was just curious.
You got stuff?
Well, I would say in my opinion, I feel like I've been doing a lot of past life work for these past 2 days. Primarily, since you brought up dreams, I've been having very vivid, just like intense dreams for the past two days, where I've woken myself up speaking. And I'm still trying to decipher exactly what I'm doing. But I got to be working through something, because things have come up in these dreams that I haven't thought about since childhood. Or experiences that I've had that, I've blacked out for some reason, So they're coming up to be worked through. And it's typically things that I've already gone through. So I'm assuming it's got to be past life things as well.
Yeah, a lot of people have been talking about that. And they've cited different dates, but, it seems like certainly October. November, it seems like a lot of stuff is coming up in a lot of different ways. Loops playing around, or energies presenting themselves, and you thought you were done with it, and they get louder and they get louder and they get louder. I'm like you. I tend to do a lot of my stuff in dream state. I remember, thankfully, asking for that about 1.5 years ago. Can we stop this insanity and purging? Can we do this another way? But everyone seems to be going through it. How about the, people like yourselves that come together? And this is, can certainly be same sex as well as opposite sex. We had a beautiful same-sex couple on yesterday. They've been together 12 years. Both really fascinating. But in regard to the words twin flame, which has been contorted, it's been kind of tainted or, mussied up. But what people, or I guess original intent, like sacred union, divine union, sacred sexuality. A lot of people, when they have those moments, that moment that you guys had 4.5 years ago, 4 years ago, they think, hey, I found her, I found him, and everything's just going to be easy from here out. It's just like, all peaches and cream and roses and white doves. And then there's another one that's, kind of like what y'all talked about with your previous relationships, where sometimes there's like a catalyzing affair or relationship prior to the one like this. So what's it been like in the time you've been together? Was there any period of triggering and running and energetic separations? And if so, which I could tell already by your honesty that occurred, how did you find your way back every time?
We actually just went through one like last week. It happens every 3 months, I swear. Like this huge triggering experience will happen, and then we have to come back together. I think the easiest way is just understanding and compassion, but also realizing that both people's thoughts and feelings and beliefs are right. You can't see that because of your own stuff. And through these experiences, like speaking from my personal experience with it, is that every time that happens, I work through and shed all this stuff that like doesn't serve me anymore. And then after I'm through that, I come back to her and I'm like, hey babe, here's what I'm feeling, here's what I've learned. you were right about this, blah, blah, blah. Compromise,
Yeah.
you know, but then we come back stronger. And it just keeps happening like that. And it's a lot of work, though.
I will say the biggest complication with that is me and Cody are both very stubborn people, very hard-headed. So it's a lot of this before we get to this.
Do you, you know, and this is, and I think this might be different, at least from what I can pick up on. And again, we're talking in generalities here. It's not specific to an opposite sex couple, same-sex couple. It's not specific to it always works this way. But it seems to me that in the early stages, because I've talked to quite a few men about this, you know, when these moments happen, their heads would go into the shadow, in the wounds of, oh my God, we're not going to be together. She doesn't like me, you know, and all that stuff. And the other side seems to hold a different perspective, obviously. Maybe that's why they call it women's intuition, because they're tuned in. Well, we're more tuned into I guess the human part, right? The lower chakras. But so, I mean, did you go through a period like that, or has there been an evolvement in terms of your perspective, Cody, as time has gone on? Like when you energetically separate, where those thoughts don't even come in anymore, you just know you've got time. It's now time to be alone and in solitude and work on yourself.
It's getting easier, you know, like each time I go through it. But yeah, like I still have those thoughts, but that's part of the process, you know, is because that means I'm still holding them, so they need to be released. And that's what happens. Like every time we go through something, it gets easier and easier and easier. But there is still some there, though, you know.
Yeah. We're not walking on water yet. Some of the priestesses are, but we're not. And of course, they're doing it in secrecy. They're just waiting for us to catch up.
Mm-hmm.
You know. And Michelle, like, I mean, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but what does Cody mean to you? Who is Cody?
To me, I'd say Cody is my soulmate and my teacher. I've learned a lot and grown a lot since being with Cody. About myself and about the world. I didn't even know about energy healing and all the amazing things that come with that until I met Cody. I was in a very strict religious household where, you know, there was nothing else, you know, and he just, I'm a big learner. I like to learn. I think knowledge is power, and this guy is full of it. He's full of it. Yeah. So he's my teacher. He's my soulmate.
Mm. Get a room.
We will be.
He is full of it in more ways than one. No, he is. He's divine. Both of you are. It's a beautiful thing to see the two of you together. There's no pretense. You know, there's really not. I mean, I could see you guys going on together if you were energetically separated and you wouldn't hide a thing, you know? Do you feel like that you have a role together in service to humanity?
Absolutely. Without a doubt. So, you know, like when I start to do like my energy work on the collective or like whatever else, she starts to fall asleep in the other room. And this happens every time. So then she hops out of her body and then she starts helping me with, of course, you know,
I was just going to say that
it happens every single time. But I think, us, like in our role together, like she has the gift of sight.
Yeah.
And she sees us together with all these other like beautiful souls around us who are usually also in couple form. So like me and her are birthing a new blueprint, I guess, for sacred relationships. And a lot of these huge things that cause us to separate or happen, it's not actually our own stuff.
Right.
It's us working through the collective stuff as well with that. So, and sometimes we lose sight of that, which is really hard because we're feeling all this stuff and we don't know what's happening, and then we're battling each other, and it's not even our own stuff. But then usually on the other side, we're like, oh shit, like this is what was actually happening.
No, I do know, and I guess there's always a personal aspect to it in terms of the individual within themselves, and yeah, it's not. I think I can totally get what you're saying, because as time's gone on, there's been less and less taken personally between each other. It's not that we don't take it on ourselves. We know it's collective, but we also know there's something in it for ourselves, which is just okay, But the thing that you said that I would point out to anybody to validate what you're saying is that as you do your work, because the other person's going to do their thing, the other person is going to handle their shift, and that's a very, very good feeling, regardless of how mixed up the emotions and how personal things feel at the moment and how much your feelings are hurt or whatever the case is. But that's such a powerful. I don't know if in my journey or from my perspective at this point in my life, I don't know if there's anything that's more powerful as far as a representation of what is this relationship. Like you're trying to describe her, like you can't, because it's an energy. So how do you describe that? But if I had to say, the best way would be to say, I know that person is going to take care. They're on their shift. No matter what I do or don't do, no matter what happens, that person is going to work their stuff out, and I will do the same. That's like the ultimate, loyalty, devotion, truth, reality, faith, love, courage. Yeah. Yeah, I have a feeling the world's going to see a lot more of both of y'all. And obviously, Michelle's got a lot to bring to the table. Yeah, I mean, you guys mirror what's happening in the collective. You really do. Yeah. Have you guys had to deal with any antagonism, family, friends, society, whatever? Have you had energies, past or present? I mean, have you had energies try to interfere, break you up, stuff like that?
Oh yeah. I'd say that one's more so on my side of the family.
Yeah.
But I'm the youngest of 5, the youngest girl of 5.
Oh God. Talk about meet the parents.
Yeah. So they're very protective. They want the best for their little girl. So there's been a lot of, I'd say, they try and plant stuff. I'd say they try and plant ideas and falsehoods.
Yeah.
Yeah. But luckily, I'm a pretty smart cookie.
Well, it's pretty hard to argue with truth.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing, Some of that stuff, I think, obviously, like we all were subjected to pattern behavior. But I think what I noticed, and it still occurs with us, but not so much, is it's more of a unconscious thing where, and it could be a relationship, or a person, or it could be an idea or whatever. People kind of like, I guess, project out from a place of inferiority, you know, of lack or perceived lack. But I know, you know, given the circumstances that you guys, because you guys are young. I mean, you guys are very young, and so you're already contending with being kind of the odd one out in a lot of different ways. And then you have the power couple thing going, which, you know, do you ever notice on the flip side of it? Do you ever notice that when you guys go out that you attract attention kind of in a, like, wow, like you got like a spotlight on you?
I don't think so, but I kind of shield myself from that stuff. You know, I don't really care about it.
Yeah, I got that.
And, you know, speaking with stuff trying to break us up too, that's kind of plays into it because, like, there will be people who will contact me and she will pick up on their ulterior
I'm
motives.
hyper vigilant.
And me being me, like, I am so in my space with her that, like, I just, like, don't even choose to see that energy, you know, because that's just how I am. I'm just in my own space always. Like, I don't care about anything out here or with anyone else. So we may be on a spotlight as there's a spotlight in front of us, but like, I usually don't see that, at least, you know.
Yes, I'm usually the one who catches it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I'm more like him too.
Mhm.
You know, like Peter Pan or Forrest Gump. You know, you're just kind of in your bubble.
Yep.
And she's like going, do you see this? Do you see this? You know, this lightning bolt coming at you right now, or this tree or boulder about to fall on your head?
Mhm.
You know, but as time goes on, I don't think that he is not aware. It's just, I think our programming has been blinders. You know, go to work, get on the treadmill, bring home the bread, you know, be the good husband, you know, all that stuff. And her vision, I think, is more peripheral, you know, to the peripheral.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, they're like cosmic weather vanes. You know, they're like picking up stuff like, you know, light years out, and you know, it's got to be like a meteor right on top of our head before we go, oh, the sky's falling, Chicken Little. Yeah. So I know that I mean, I look at Michelle and I just see like healer, like, you know, like priestess, like, but I guess, you know, and that was really interesting what you said about when you're doing the work and she's in the next room, goes to sleep. And that's the first thing I saw was her jumping out of her body over there, conducting the show, basically. It's like, you know, it's like you're the Wizard of Oz and she's the one actually behind the screen as the higher self. It's funny. It's funny. It's things aren't always what they appear.
Absolutely.
And I think maybe that what you described in that example is going to be something from an energetic standpoint that's going to be seen more and more. Just how much that energy's been the rock all along. Mm-hmm. I don't know about y'all's families, but most of the families that I've you know, interacted with throughout my life, and certainly my own families, most of the time there's a female that's the rock, the grandmother, the mother, you know, like dad can go do this and go do that and be Fred Flintstone and, you know, have all these great ideas and chase the moon. And at the end of the day, rock steady, you know, the rock is steady.
Yeah. She's absolutely my balancing piece, you know.
Yeah.
I'm all over the place trying to do all these things and make all this stuff happen. And then at the end of the day, she's like, sit the fuck down.
I think a good metaphor for it would be I'm the tether that holds him to the rocket ship in space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And drift off.
Yeah.
For eternity.
Yeah. No, I can relate to that. And I can tell Cody too that, you know, as time's gone on, I think what it is with the men, or that energy, the masculine, which is mostly showing up in the male incarnate, is that they're so excited. They want to do it. They're programmed to conquer the world today. So they want to get everything done. And she understands that this is an eternal experience. Like Morgan will tell me, and I'll be upfront with you. That's why I double checked my answer a while ago when I said I'm kind of past all that. But if I feel and I'm moved, and I will, a force of nature wants to express his love to her, right? Like all the way, every way, whatever. And she'll say to me, it's not going away. It's still going to be here. It's all you. It's all yours. I'm all yours. You don't have to knock it all out in one day, whether it's me and Cody going out trying to create some kind of energy is a homage to the divine feminine, because ultimately that's what it is. It leads to her. But yeah, it gets easier. I can tell you that. Because then you learn to have the patience that she represents, and you learn to I don't know, just chill out.
You'll learn eventually.
Yeah.
He's not.
I'm getting better. Much better.
That's what I mean, and this is for people watching, because again, they think that we're not saying everyone does, but there's been a misconception that's being deconstructed now, that you meet somebody, you're supposed to be with them, and everything's going to be okay now. Well, it is and it isn't. It is, but the universe doesn't give us anything for free.
Mm-hmm.
We have to put in the time, and we will be, what goes around comes around.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys got anything coming up? Anything that before we get out of here that you want to expand awareness about, or any last comments, or any advice to people that are looking to replicate what you have?
I'd say what I try and do every day really is just be positive. Try and find different perspectives of things, and find gratitude for the things that you do have, even on hard days. Because that's what makes life enjoyable. Because even when I'm angry at you, I'm still like, pretty fucking awesome. Pardon my mouth.
Hey, this is Solargy. You can drop as many F-bombs as you want to.
I'm still grateful at the end of the day. There's
Yeah.
a lot of ups and downs, and people come and people go. But there's a saying I've had since I met Cody. It actually is the first poem I ever wrote him. The end of it said, "My soul will always find yours."
Yeah, you can't argue with that. Wow. Yeah. Well, you guys are absolutely as beautiful, if not the most beautiful energy of union that I've ever seen. No pretense, no show, no mask. No, yeah, it's just very real and natural and honest, and you own the human part, regardless of how high of a priestess you are, because we know you are a multidimensional priestess, and you're the same. And I think that's one of the huge gifts. I can't speak for Morgan, or I don't feel like I could speak for women in a relationship like this, or maybe one partner to the other in a same-sex relationship. But that is when you look at the other one and you're like going, oh my God, look at her, look at him. Like, wow. Like, you're almost like, wow. Like you said earlier, Cody, when y'all met, like, am I even worthy of this, right? Like, and then you start to realize, hey, wait a minute, we're together and we're disconnected because we're the same frequencies. So if I'm looking at a mirror, wow, talk about fast tracking self-love within yourself by looking at something like that. Yeah. So you guys, to me, you guys exhibit that. And I just want to thank you for coming in and honoring us with your presence and sharing space with us. And I would love to collaborate with you guys more.
Yes, please and thank you.
And in regard to Michelle coming out, I'm here. We're here, Morgan and I, Soulology, to support you in doing that. And if you don't be shy, if you would like to have some support with that and expand some awareness, please let us know. Okay.
Thank you.
You guys keep doing what you're doing and behave yourself.